Hello, I'm Dick Rogers. I'm the founder and leader of the Common Good Party. It's a very small political party, just me and a couple of friends at the moment, but we have some big ideas that I'd like to get into currency, particularly in the United Kingdom where we're based. I live in Birmingham. I'm an Anglican clergyman and a medical doctor, and I believe I have something really important to say, which is that I want our country to be a really good influence in the world, and to really care about world affairs, to be thoroughly immersed in the huge job of making the world a better place. It's a job with many parts. It involves diplomacy, it involves our trade capabilities, it involves culture, it involves just being out and understanding the world and seeking to be a good influence in any way that we can. And there are many avenues open to us to do that. There are two consequences if we do that, I believe. One is that we may make the world a better place, which would be great, because there are huge numbers of people, perhaps about 1 billion people, who are malnourished in the world. 40% of the world I think it's 40% of the world don't have access to a toilet. It's not just that they don't have a toilet, they don't have access to one, and of course that gives them diarrhea and stunts the growth of their children. It's a huge global health problem amongst many others. So if we did that, I think also, though, the second impact is that it would make us a much happier, more cohesive country, because we would be a team together working on something that we really believe in. And I think it would lift our spirits greatly. I think the young people would say, yeah, that the adult world I see around me, the adult nation around me, is really trying to do a good job. I can see that they're really pulling their socks up, and they're getting on with making the world a better place. I want to be part of that when I grow up. I respect it. I want to be part of the team. And so they'll want to do their maths homework and languages and sciences and English and stuff like that, and then they'll be really useful when they grow up. I believe people like that won't get into crime. They won't be interested in drugs because they'll have the self-esteem of knowing that they're needed in the world. And I believe also that they'll be more attractive as marriage partners to members of the opposite sex of their own age, and they'll be more likely to fall properly in love and get married and stick together and have healthy, stable children who grow up in turn happy, rather than the large number of traumatized people we have around us at the moment. I think there's a lot to it. I think this can bring us together because it's a team effort. I think it can promote pride in the public service ethos, that people can take part in society because we care about each other and because we want to make a success of our national endeavour together, rather than just feathering our own individual nests, which will get us nowhere in the end, really. And then you see also, I think it's the answer to multicultural tensions, tensions between people of different religions, different ethnic origins, and so on, because I think everybody can understand making the world a better place and the need for it. And so I think it's something that people can happily throw themselves into, wherever they're from, whatever their ability, whatever their religion. And it's really good and healthy, and I think it will enable us to take pleasure in the innocent things of life. I also want to get the banking system fixed. We allow commercial banks to create money out of nothing, which is then their property, and they can charge us interest on it, and it's a mug's game. The only creator of money in the country should be the Bank of England. Once the Bank of England has created it, acting as a public servant serving us all, then the banks can compete to attract savers to deposit it with them, and they can lend it out at favourable rates competitively to people who need to borrow, and that's fine. But I don't think banks should be allowed to create money out of nothing. Another thing I want to do is I want to save the National Health Service from commercialism. I don't like the idea of health providers, hospitals and other agents of health care, being competitors and being bound together by contracts that lawyers have devised. I think rather we should be colleagues, and we should be all part of the same team rather than competitors. And particularly so, I think we need to get to grips with who pays for the care of elderly people. I think it is not good and a discredit to our society that we argue about who pays for the care of elderly people. It's the whole way in which the National Health Service was founded was that we should share the cost of health, so that we don't have to worry about the money aspect of getting ill and being looked after. And I think it would cost something, but I do think that it's important that we look after the elderly with respect and love, technically well, with society as a whole, in other words the state looking after the money side of that. I want to get the trains nationalised so that we can run them as one organisation, running both the track and the trains, and also investing for the future in good high-speed rail in the ownership of the state. I'm not a loony lefty, but I think the infrastructure generally should be run by us all, by the state in the name of us all, and we ought to put our entrepreneurial activity and flair into export earnings mainly, to an extent that we don't at the moment. And I also think that we should honour the military and provide for them properly, and that we should be behind them, behind both them and also the Department for International Development, which does some excellent jobs throughout the world, bringing relief to people who are in desperate poverty. But please have a look at our website. We do want to develop this across the country, starting from Birmingham, but in all sorts of other centres as well. Particularly perhaps going for the constituencies where the cabinet and the shadow cabinet are standing in the general election, and also for marginal constituencies where we can seek to, but basically what we want to do is propagate this vision, and getting elected in a sense is a step towards that. And if we can propagate the vision even before getting elected, that's great, because I think it's a winsome one. I think it really makes sense, and I think people will be able to understand it when they hear it. So please have a look at the website, www.thecommongood.info, and I'd be really pleased to hear from you. Thanks very much.